Drive your ambition. Mitsubishi Motors.
Monday, take it for a drink on Tuesday. We were making love by Wednesday, and on Thursday and Friday and Saturday we chill on Sunday.
Yeah, Mais Mohammed, welcome to the show. What is a life coach?
It really changes a lot. So I feel like people need to connect with themselves, need to understand why they're here. I was a bit worried that I wouldn't fit in here.
She's not one of us. You like the vibes behind you?
That's incredible. I don't think I've ever been on a show that they've done something this creative.
Do you feel like you don't want to be seen just as someone who's survived cancer?
I lost my health, I lost my money, I was in court. All of that was back to back. It's been one hell of a journey, a very interesting one.
What is it to be a woman in 2024?
And the feminism ruined everything.
Yeah.
Wear the pants at work all you want. You wear the skirt at home.
So why do people cheat?
It's because people are making cheating very normal.
What's the message?
Don't feel bad that you're feeling guilty. Damn, who writes these questions?
Hello everyone and welcome to Inside Track with me, Luca Allam. I'm joined by someone who is a TV personality. Yeah. She's a former radio presenter. She's a master life coach. She has her own podcast. Anything else I'm missing?
Voice of Entertainment Tonight.
Voice of Entertainment Tonight.
And owner of Disconnect Wellness.
I love that. Mais Mohammed, welcome to the show.
يا هلا والله أنا ميس محمد متعودين تسمعون صوتي على أبل ديزر سبوتيفاي أنغامي ببودكاست اسمه لحظة مع ميس.
Hello, and we're here to talk about the WIFA Federation.
People follow you because they want to follow you.
The key is mental wellness and well-being. Number 1 is oxygen, which is breathing, and number 2 would be ice.
أهلا وسهلا فيكم في إيتي بالعربي. هذا الصعب إنه شهر كامل أنا عايشة ويا أهلي وأمثل عليهم. قلت إن هذا أكيد كيس أو ورم حميد إنه بتصير عند البنات. اليوم جاي أحتفل وياكم لأنه توني خلصت العلاج.
Welcome to the show. Really happy to have you.
I'm so happy to be here because it's super unique and I'm loving the vibes.
You like the vibes behind you?
That's incredible. I don't think I've ever been on a show that they've done something this creative. So
Explain those who are listening on audio.
I mean, for people that can't see what's happening, there's a screen behind me that has beautiful elements that apparently describe who I am, which has the ribbon for the breast cancer, the podcast mic. There's this angelic woman, which I'm assuming represents women empowerment. But I really want to speak to the person that designed this. And I want to understand why they chose these elements. How did they perceive me? It's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I would love to have this as a wallpaper.
Well, you know what? We're going to give it to you because you're such a lovely person.
Really?
It's going to be yours.
Oh, thank you.
Compliments of the Inside Track. You come on the show and you get customized artwork.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And you brought me something customized. Look at this beautiful mug. Mace, what's going on here?
You like it? This was a gift and I really, really love this mug.
Show it up to the camera properly.
See that? That's me.
Honestly, we've got, look, behind you, there's a bunch of different mugs, but I think this one is arguably my top 3 favorite mug.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Look at it. And you're kind of holding your hat there, right? Or you're holding...
Beanie, yeah.
Yeah, your beanie. Okay.
So the original photo is this one. Well, I'll show you like quickly on my phone since I just opened it. This is the original photo.
Look at that.
All right.
It's a match.
It's a match.
Beautiful.
So in this photo, why I love this mug so much, because this was done it was gifted to me by an Iraqi designer.
I love how you say Iraqi.
Yeah, Iraqi. The original way of saying
it. Say it one more time.
Iraqi.
Oh,
I'm going to say it a couple of times.
It's so good.
So she did this herself, handmade, young girl. And she picked this picture, but this picture is very dear to me because it was taken in Erbil, Iraq, in the north of Iraq. And it was my first time visiting my home country. I mean, after growing up, I don't really remember it as a child. We visited once, but as an adult, this picture was the first time I visited the country and it was winter. It was beautiful. I was up at the castle and so this picture means a lot. And it's also done by an Iraqi designer. And I like that she closed my eyes.
I love it. You're obviously very patriotic, right? What was your first impression of going to Iraq?
Oh, I was a bit worried that I wouldn't fit in.
Really?
Yeah, I was very worried because I didn't grow up there. So I feel different. I even speak a little differently because I don't have such a very my accent is strong, but not that strong. Like you can point that I haven't been brought up there.
Yeah.
So
There's a bit of an American twang.
yeah, but the Arabic, even the Arabic, they go like, yeah, she's definitely she's not from here.
She's not one of us.
She's not one of us. So I was a bit worried that I wouldn't fit in, but it was the complete opposite. It was like I felt home. It was a very odd feeling because Dubai is home to me. I was born here. But it was a very different feeling when I stepped foot on the land of Iraq.
Very nice. So, like, this is a beautiful mug.
Yeah.
And it's also matching what you're wearing.
That was by coincidence.
Beautiful.
Because initially it was supposed to be a different mug that was actually white.
Yeah.
But it got shattered on the way here. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. So she walked in the door and she was like, look, I've got some good news. I've got some bad news. What is it? What is it? It goes, the mug, it broke, it shattered. I said, let's put it together. He goes, no, it's completely shattered.
Yeah.
And then she very kindly decided to get this delivered to the house.
Yes.
And I'm very glad you did because it's beautiful and it's going to go right up on that mantelpiece.
Oh, now everybody can know it's me. I have my face on it.
You're okay with it? You're not too possessive over your mug?
I'm not possessive of anything, actually. I used to be a very possessive person, especially over my things.
Oh, wow.
And things that I like.
Wow.
But ever since I got sick, I realized letting go is the most peaceful thing anybody can do. Mastering the art of letting go.
Elephant in the room. There's an elephant in the room here.
There's a physical.
So for those I don't know, you obviously you had cancer. You're in remission at the moment, right?
Yes, that's correct. I had breast cancer.
Congratulations! Amazing
Thank
news.
you.
Amazing
Thank
news.
you. Woohoo. We made it through 2 more years and I'm done with the medication that I take.
Yeah.
But it's been one hell of a journey, a very interesting one. I mean, put the sad stuff on the side, but the insights, speaking of insights, are incredible.
Such as?
Well, one, the art of letting go is one of the biggest ones that I learned because I had to learn how to let go of my body part, which was letting go of my breasts, letting go of a lot of the things that I'm passionate about because I used to be, I used to train at least 3-4 times a week, Muay Thai and boxing.
Oh,
that went down the drain.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of the illness?
I can't move. My lymph nodes were removed, so it was under recovery. There was no way, chest surgeries, and there was no way. And paddleboarding, which also was requiring chest and upper body. And that was, I have a whole business. Yeah, be amazing. Boards, the paddle boards and the business. So that went down the drain. And it was a lot to take in. But once I've realized that it was that moment, actually. The moment I got diagnosed, I didn't cry. But the moment they told me I can't go on my paddleboard or boxing, I had a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
So I realized that...
You can laugh about it now, but I'm guessing at the time it wasn't particularly laughable.
Well, it didn't no. At the moment itself, no. Yeah. But it didn't last longer than 5 minutes. So I had that breakdown and the doctor comes in and it was that one sentence she said that woke me up. She said, I don't get you. Like, I diagnosed you, you didn't cry. And now I tell you, you can't get on a paddleboard, you have a nervous breakdown. Are you kidding me right now? And I'm like, oh my God, she makes a lot of sense. So I switched immediately. I said, seriously, like, am I really crying over something that's like a mug or a board or boxing? Like, that doesn't make sense. There's so much things a lot of things that are bigger in life.
Look, on the show, typically I always ask guests, again, because what I care most about is my guests feeling comfortable on the show, right? Yeah. So if it's something you don't want to talk about, you don't have to talk about it. In fact, you have a safe word. So do you have a safe word in mind for any question? Carrots. All right. You don't like carrots?
I love carrots.
Okay, but so that's your that's your blanket, your safety blanket.
I don't know why carrots just popped up, even when I was speaking to you. I was
raw
like,
carrots, boiled carrots?
No, not boiled, raw carrots.
Okay. In England, growing up in boarding school, all we ate was boiled carrots.
Boiled?
Yeah. I mean, in England, they boil everything. Boiled cabbage, boiled
but
cauliflower,
do you know that
boiled carrots.
Vegetables are a lot healthier than raw?
It's good insight.
That is actually something I learned recently from alternative medicine specialists. They say boil all your vegetables. Do not eat them raw. It is much healthier.
Okay, so carrots is your safe word, and
carrots.
I'm going to boil things from now on.
Yes.
Look, you're doing quite a lot of different things, right? Yeah. And like I said right at the beginning of the show, how to introduce you is not super straightforward. How would you class yourself? If someone asks you, a child, a 3-year-old kid, you just met my kid off camera.
Yeah.
If he says, what do you do for a living? What's your first initial reaction?
Well, if he was 3, I would tell him I'm the brain wizard.
Okay.
Because he's 3 and he'd speak his language.
A 5-year-old then.
I would say wellness experts.
Okay.
Yeah. Or brain wizard is actually fun.
So
brain specialist.
I do like that. So wellness expert, is that something because of what you've been through personally, or was that something that you were always going to get into regardless?
No, I was into wellness way before what I've been through.
Okay.
I just got lucky enough that when I went through it, I was already an expert.
Yeah.
So I got to apply everything I've learned, all my learnings, onto myself to see, does it really work? You know, because a lot of people, they go like, what do you know? You haven't passed through traumas in life. What do you know? You haven't been through hell and under. And it was like a roller coaster in 1 year. It's like, because everybody kept saying, what do you know? I'm like, now I know.
Yeah.
I lost everything in a year. I lost my health. I lost my money. I was in court. All that was
You were
back
in
to
court?
back.
So what was going on in court?
Oh, that I can't say just yet because
You
I'm
can use
still in
carrots.
court.
You can talk about carrots.
Carrots.
This is where carrots come in, by
Yeah.
the way.
Well, but soon maybe I can talk about it soon.
Maybe next season.
Next season, maybe.
So what are you doing at the moment? How are you keeping yourself busy?
Oh, I'm always busy. So I have this, how do you want to put it? Like the organized mess of a schedule. You know, I know what's going on. It's a lot, but it's organized. So every day I have something different going on. It's never the same thing 2 days in a row. I am not a routine friendly person. I do not like routine. The only thing I'm routine about is my gym. I do not skip that. And waking up early in the morning. I don't skip that either. So
What time do you wake up in the morning?
Well, if it wasn't a late night, it would be 5:30, 6 a.m.
What?
Yeah.
5:30?
I like sunrise, yeah. I like to wake up to the sunrise. It is very important. There's reasons why.
And what time do you go to bed?
About 11.
Is that a late night for you?
No, late night is 2 a.m.
What's happening at 2 a.m., mate?
Well, I'd be out, I'll be out with my friends, enjoying the night.
Yeah.
And then by the time we come home, it's already 2 o'clock in the morning.
You, is this single life? Is this dating life? What kind of life
Oh,
is
there's dating life doesn't exist in my category just yet. Single life.
this? Okay. You looking for someone?
Of course. I wouldn't use the word looking. I'm open to
You're
having
open.
some. Yeah.
3 things you look for in someone?
Number one, which is the hardest one to find.
That was quick. Go on. she's ready. She's
Ready.
ready. She's ready.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
3 things that I want in a man.
Go.
Okay. Number one is the one I'm struggling with. A man that knows what he wants. Which is why I can't get to number 2 and 3.
Humor me. What's 2 and 3?
Well, number 2 is for him to be my best friend.
Okay.
And number 3, for him to play backgammon with me.
Backgammon.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
That's the only 3 things I want in a man.
Maybe if you start with backgammon, you get point 1 done.
No, trust me, no.
So
Start with the...
Why do men not know what they want? And conversely, do you think women know what they want?
Again, I don't want to say that women know what they want. Of course, there's a lot of women that don't know what they want, and I'm not going to generalize all men don't know what they want. But when it comes to relationships, especially at an older age, especially in a different environment where now there's dating apps, women are a bit out there, they're kind of approaching the man rather than the man approaching the woman. So the dynamics have changed. They're not like before. Before, it was always the man leading into a relationship. He's the one that's taking the first step. He's the one that's getting the first rose or taking the first call. Today, it's the girl that's bombarding the guy with, hey, listen, you want to go out? Hey, she gifts him with something. So the dynamics have really changed, and it made things harder, which is probably why they don't know what they want, because they're seduced by so many things. It's very unfortunate. But there are many other reasons.
I was in Sri Lanka a few years ago, and I was talking to someone there, and she basically said something really insightful, and it's always stayed with me. She said, men are like suns, and women are like moons. Men are like suns in the sense of they wake up every day, and they should have a purpose. They rise, they go to work, they get stuff done. It's simple. There's a plan.
Yeah.
Women as moons are more mysterious. They don't know necessarily what they want. They rise, they change, they evolve, they're more magical. And it was a really nice way she painted it. She said the problem with today's world is that men's are no longer behaving like suns. They're starting to behave more and more like moons.
Yes.
And women as moons are behaving more and more like suns. And that just sort of stuck with me. I was thinking this sort of dependency between what a man and a woman is, or a sun and the moon and that relationship, is starting to become so entwined. It's becoming very, very difficult to sort of identify what is a man in 2024 and what is a woman. In fact, I had someone on my show who spearheads women empowerment.
Oh, yeah.
And I asked her, what is it to be a woman in 2024? She couldn't answer the question.
It sucks.
You can't, what is a woman in 2024? So it was a crazy conversation. When you simplify it, it's becoming, just to your point, it's really, really difficult because men don't know who they are anymore. And women, by definition, very, very similar.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. Like, listen, anything that goes to an extreme is a disaster. And the feminism ruined everything because they took it to the extreme. They really did. They overly did it. Like, at this point, they want to wear the pants at all times. It's like we're not functioned to be that way. Wear the pants at work all you want. You wear the skirt at home. You need to balance that. There's the feminine and masculine energy. You cannot have a masculine energy with another masculine energy. Automatically, the other person will turn off. And if someone wants to tell me about gays and not gays and all of that, even gay people, just to show you how ridiculous that is, whether male to male, female to female, okay? You will never see male dominant with male dominant. You will find masculine energy with the feminine energy of a male, which is technically boy and girl, which there's no logical sense in what's going on, with all due respect to everybody's thinking. But even with girls, you'll find the more masculine girl energy to a feminine energy. It's like, okay, you can just stay boy and girl. You can. But when they really understand, why am I attracted? You're attracted to the energy, which is either the feminine or the masculine. Now, imagine that with straight people, the over-empowerment of women. It's misused. It's overly done. And the woman comes back home. She's giving the orders. The guy's confused. Even forget coming home. Just starting a relationship. She's the one doing the bookings for the dates. She's going to offer to pay as well. She picks him up before they go on the date. It's very confusing.
So if you know what you want, and if you're a male and you enjoy backgammon, what was the second one?
Be my best friend.
Yeah, and you're ready to be Mace's best friend, reach out to Mace or the Inside Track, and we'll see what we can do. So life coaching.
Yeah.
Right. You are a life coach at the moment. Okay. What does that mean? Because it's a very simple question with not particularly simple answer, or maybe there is, but there seems to be a lot of people getting into the space of coaching life.
Yeah.
What is a life coach?
I know the terminology has been misused a lot these days, and a lot of people, unfortunately, are calling themselves life coaches. But and they're not. Like, oh, I give great advice. I'm a life coach. No, it doesn't work that way, bro. You can't. It's not about giving advice. So life coach is a simplified way, or not a simplified, I would say a luxurious title of having a psychologist on board. Why? Because people go like
psychologists are doctors, right?
Psychiatrists are doctors.
Psychologists
are consultants. They're not doctors.
Okay.
I mean, you can have your PhD as a psychologist, of course, but you don't give any medical. You don't give any medicine. You don't prescribe anything. You're 100% consulting on a neurological point of.
Can anyone be a psychologist?
Of course, anybody can be anything, as long as you study it. Well, so is coaching. So under coaching and psychology, the common grounds between the two is neuro-linguistic programming. So it's NLP, hypnosis, techniques, modalities. The modalities of both are the same. The coaching modalities are a bit different than the ones that they study in the university in psychology. They're kind of upgraded a little bit because it's like medicine. Every day there's something new.
Advancements happening, discoveries.
So not everything is always updated in books. So these things you pick up along the way. Somebody comes up with a new technique, you learn it.
So what is it? What will you get from a life coach? And who should go see a life coach?
They should get out of a life coach.
What should they get, and why should you go see them in the first place?
Well, some people, I think everybody should see a life coach. Okay, not just the ones that.
Let's do a session now, right? Let's. I've now decided to reach out to you because I want to improve my life. Let's say, okay. How would it work? What would I start? What were the kind of questions that you'd ask me? Is it a Q&A style approach? So you understand and you delve deeper? Do I come to you with an issue? Explain that to me.
Coming with an issue would be great, because you have an issue and you want to resolve it. But either way, I never tackle only the issue. I always go to the root cause of the problems. Okay. All problems.
Okay.
You see, when you're born, up until the age of 7 to, let's say, even 16, you don't choose to get programmed. It is automatically programmed by other people. And what I mean by that is you didn't choose what makes you angry. It was, you were influenced by it. You saw somebody angry, your mom, your dad, your siblings, or even teachers at school, and then all of a sudden you learned anger. All these emotions are learned. You're not born with them. And along the way, because of the environment around you, you become this character that is in agony. Like, this really makes me angry. Or you go through rage, or you go through sadness. And instead of saying that, wait a minute, I don't want to feel this way, how can I release it? That's when we start working and we rewire, reprogram whatever learnings you had from the beginning of time till today. So you have new learnings. Once you shift your perception towards that, your emotions and your programmings automatically change.
Yeah, it's like a computer. You're rewiring effectively
100%.
new pathways in your mind that have been set or falsely set by your childhood.
There's a cartoon that is magnificent, and I don't even know that people realize that it is the teachings of NLP. It's called Inside Out. Do you know
I
it?
thought you were going to say the inside track.
No. Close.
Yeah, Inside Out.
Inside Out. Every adult and child has to watch this cartoon.
What will it tell me?
It will teach you how the brain works and its emotions, but in a very, very nice way. And people watch it, they don't even realize that this is a teaching. I'm in the cinema, I'm like, is anyone seeing this?
Yeah. Does everyone's pathways need to be rewired?
Everyone.
What was your biggest rewiring for you in your own life?
All the emotions. It's not about a big one or a small one, because when you it's
but
like
what's
a
personal
dentist.
to you? So what was when you got into this? You obviously had a mindset you wanted to self-heal as well, right? I'm guessing.
Yes. Okay.
So what was it from your perspective? What needed to be rewired?
For me, it was the curiosity. I didn't understand why people were acting the way they were acting. I didn't understand why people are so mean or hurtful. You know, why are people doing this? Why do people act the way they do, feel the way they do? Why do we feel pain? How do we make it stop? So I was a curious kid, you know, and I always wanted to know answers. But what I was shocked is that other than the answers that I got, I had an insight of, oh my God, I had no relationship with myself. That was the biggest shock for me. I wasn't even planned. Like, I didn't go in there saying that I don't have a relationship with I realized I was my worst enemy. I could not sit with myself for more than 5 minutes. I always had to be around people. Today, whole different ballgame.
Being comfortable in your own skin, being comfortable in your own mind.
Yes, being comfortable with my own skin, being my own best friend, loving myself, loving spending time with myself. I love my alone time.
By the way, you've got an amazing energy. It's very difficult to see this or even hear this, but just sitting next to you, we're like 1.5 meters apart, give or take. You've got amazing energy.
Oh, thank you.
Very calming, very reassuring, very friendly, very open, very warm, very pleasant to be around.
Thank you.
Is that something that you've had to work on, or is that sort of as a result of everything that you've kind of been processing
I
yourself?
think it would be a result, because the minute you shift your frequency, it's a vibration. So when you say elevated frequency of a higher self, you even start attracting people within the same. It's a magnetic field.
Energy attraction.
Yes. Energy attracts energy. It's two magnetic forces. Great minds connect together. Great energies connect together. We can't see these energies, but they are aligning. You know.
Do we get into a sort of a horoscope kind of perspective as well? Is there another layer as well on top of that? Is it to do with the stars, the alignments, the timing of the moon? I don't know, because there are so many forces at work that our minds still haven't yet fully captured.
Yeah.
We can only still see 1 or 2 of these pathways, but perhaps there's much, much more. I don't know. What's your take on that?
I don't know if it would be, not my specialty, horoscopes and astrology, but if you're talking about an individual's frequency, aside from astrology, that doesn't really play much of a role of your connection with yourself. Of course, it impacts how you feel when there's a full moon, the pressure of the moon coming closer to Earth. That would impact your emotions. But when you shift your mental well-being and you elevate your frequency, that is regardless. The moon runs around, the sun runs around, you're already shifted. Haven't you felt any of the days where all of a sudden the people that were close to you don't match you anymore?
Yeah.
And you just want to let them go?
I'm going through that literally as we speak. It's funny, isn't it? It's like, I don't know if it's also a Dubai thing where every few years you kind of have this refresh or filter, of your friends group. Have you experienced that before?
Of course, yeah.
My first 2 or 3 years when I first moved here, then 3-4 years later, completely different group. Fast track 10 years on top of that, and I'm in a completely different space altogether. Evolution, energies, whatever you call it. I think we naturally churn out people that don't give us what we need from them.
Exactly.
My sister, she's a very smart lady. I've got two smart sisters, both doctors, and much into science. But one of them talks a lot about, you have two types of people in this world. You have radiators and you have drains. People that give you that radiating positive energy, and the drains that suck everything out of you. And that when you're in their presence, you're just like, oh my God, I'm exhausted.
Emotional vampires.
I'm so tired. Yeah. And she's absolutely spot on. And I've realized that in my own life, I'm naturally churning out all the drains, and I want to keep attracting the radiators. And I've got a radiator right here.
Oh,
keeping me warm.
Thank you.
Look, you're great on TV as well, right?
Yeah.
You've done a lot of TV work, and obviously you're very comfortable being on camera or having a microphone. What part of your life do you enjoy the most, and what does that say about yourself?
Oh, sending the message, seeing people happy.
What's the message?
A message of coaching in general, like whether it's coaching in an ice bath or coaching breath work or coaching
you teach in an ice bath?
Yeah, of course. Under Disconnect Wellness, I teach them how to control an ice bath. When I see people smile or when I read a comment on social media, so be it TV, I read the comments because obviously I can't see them, and when we're doing the classes on ground on the beach, I get to obviously have hands-on with the people that guiding the session for. The words of "this came just in time" means the world to me. Oh my God, I really needed this. Oh, that's
and they
priceless.
didn't even know at the time how much they needed it.
Yeah,
right?
And I've heard that as well. I didn't know I needed this. Thank you. So this for me is priceless. Like this is what drives me forward.
It's a drug, right? At the same time,
I'm addicted to it.
Yeah. So there's a selfishness about it, but you're doing good. So the same way, it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares if it's a bad thing? Is in terms of being addicted to it? It's something that actually spreads.
It's a good addiction.
100%. Right. This is the part where you take charge of the show. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
What am I gonna do?
I don't know. You're in charge.
I thought I'm like looking at the bag. I'm like,
So you've got a bagger here with a bunch of different balls on it.
Okay.
In it, brother, with questions that are written on golf balls.
Alrighty.
Right? So take out a ball, read it out loud, and let's get insightful.
Just one ball or?
One at a time. One at a time. Are you ready to get insightful? It's
of course.
insight time. First one. They're all relevant to you or to
Ouch.
No. You've got carrots as well. Don't forget you got carrots.
No, we're not gonna use carrots.
What's the question?
Coaches are just failed therapists. Debate. What do you think?
You can't give that to me straight off the bat.
Are
coaches failed therapists? Because you said something before. Psychiatrists are doctors, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to give people advice, anyone can give people advice. Anyone can coach.
Yeah.
So, and that's dangerous. So do you feel like coaches haven't put in the graft, the hard work, the science elements, and they are just failed therapists? Or do you feel like there's still merit in the experience that they're having and that they are actually more than just that?
There's a big percentage of coaches, to be fair, that are failed therapists.
Give me a percentage.
Oh, I can't give you an accurate percentage.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't.
Ballpark.
I don't know.
Ballpark,
yes. I would say 60%.
Okay. That's a lot of failed therapists out there.
I'll tell you why. Because
it's like the whole thing about dentists, right? Not being failed doctors.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Right?
That's so mean.
Well, I mean, that's what people say.
You can't live without
I'm not
a
saying
dentist.
that's what people say.
No, dentists are great. We can't live without them.
Yeah. I cut off your train of thought. Go on. You were saying.
The thing is, like, yes, it's a big percentage of why, because they're being certified by, there's a lot of places certifying life coaches that shouldn't be certifying them. Like, they're not qualified to be life coaches. Why are you certifying them? They're still messed up. They're going to be messing up other people.
I know. That's why the mind is so powerful. So
Yeah.
if you start playing around, poking around the mind, and you're not qualified to do that, you're not
Yeah.
accredited to do that, you can do some serious damage.
Exactly. So I think it's about going to the right coaches. They'd be the most magnificent.
How do you know a right
therapists.
coach from a wrong coach?
Reference, I think. Always ask. See someone that's already been there. See the results they've had. What was their experience? Referral, I think, referral marketing is one of the most powerful ones.
How many times should you go to I know it's how long is a piece of string, but ballpark it again, or average it out for me, index it. How many times should you go and see a life coach?
There's not a time per se, but you can do approximate sessions of 12 hours. It's enough.
12 hours. So that's 12 times. I'm guessing 1 hour a session.
I don't do 1 hour sessions.
How long are your sessions?
I keep it open.
Wow. So you can do one burst of 12 hours.
No, but I'm not going to sit down for 12 hours.
Have you got time now?
12 hours. No, it's too
Where
much.
to begin? There's so many issues.
Sometimes, yeah, I've had people that have done it in 3 days.
Okay, that's intense.
Intense.
Yeah.
You know?
And at
3
the end,
days.
they're like, they've just gone like 12 rounds.
But I like the way they think, because 3 days is they're completely disconnecting from the outside environment.
Switch off phones, switch off
Yeah,
laptops.
they're 100% focusing on their well-being, so nothing is distracting them. So when you do a 1-hour session, you're back in that toxic environment. You forget what you just learned.
Yeah.
It just messes up. But when you're kind of contained and you and you get out there and you're like, okay, I'm a whole new upgraded person. It's a way of doing it, but I don't like, excuse me, your hour's up. It really bothers me. Like, I do not like that sentence.
So to answer the question, coaches just fail therapists.
No, they're not. Some are. 60% are.
So that's a yes.
No, they're not. I'm not a failed therapist.
I didn't say you were, but
I think I do great. But not all of them. But yeah, there is a big percentage. Next ball. The most common concern amongst your clients.
Yeah. So what does most people come to you with? What's their issue?
This year or last year?
Is there a difference?
Yeah.
Is the war that's happening in Gaza and Lebanon?
No. Oh, actually,
is that making an impact versus this year versus
oh
last
my
year?
God, that yes. Actually, speaking of that,
Because that's what you made me think is the difference between this year and last year.
well, every year is different, but
course.
I do have one of the main things is they're having a really hard time because they're always on social media watching the news. So they're getting depression and they're feeling guilt at the same time.
Yeah.
So they don't want to go out because they feel guilty. And stuck at home watching the news, they're getting depressed, which is leading to insomnia, which is leading to a million other things. So yeah, this is one of the main concerns this year, unfortunately.
So what's your advice? Because there's a lot of people who are
year.
going to be watching and listening who are going through exactly that. They're really struggling when it comes to, do they turn off the news to make themselves feel better? Or do they keep themselves glued on? Because if they don't, they're going to feel immense guilt.
You know, when you get on an airplane, they always show you a mom and a child. And they for emergencies, they say, cover yourself first and then cover the child. Why? Because you can't help them if you can't help yourself. And the same applies to your life in terms of whether being Gaza, whether being Lebanon, or anywhere in the world that is going through a massacre. If I understand that every person can make a change, every person can make a difference, okay? And maybe you are that person that makes a difference somehow on your socials. But if you are not the social activist where you post and your voice is strong, okay? So you're not that person that's going to make a social difference. Let's eliminate you from that category. So what are you doing other than harming yourself? Balance is key, because if you're going to get sick, you're going to be in a hospital and nothing in life is going to be tasteful. It's like you're going on a slow suicide mission. Anything extreme is bad. The solution to this is to balance. I'm not saying switch off the news completely, but to have certain hours for the news. Definitely not when you wake up or before you go to sleep. These two timings are off the chart. When you wake up, you need to start giving your mind works on theta brainwaves. It is the most critical time of the day for you to feed information. If you feed the information news and political news, you are damaging your body with high levels of cortisol.
They say the first meal of the day needs to be healthy. So if you give the first piece of news or information into your mind is unhealthy.
Has to be healthy. And second,
so then you're basically saying if you're going to consume somehow between the hours of when you wake up and when you sleep, go to bed. Don't do it at the beginning, don't do it at the end. All right. If you're going to consume this type of content.
Have it midday. Consume it midday, afternoon.
Should you surround yourself with people who are going through the same thing, or is that the worst thing to do?
No, don't surround yourself with these people, because then you're all going to be talking about it and it's just going to go negative plus negative plus negative, and it's just downhill. Always surround yourself with people that are positive, that are talking about other things, different topics, that are not talking about politics. Balance in your life.
So for those who feel guilty, sorry to interrupt again, but for those who are feeling guilty because they don't want to think about it or talk about it, what's your message to them?
Guilt is an emotion that is a reflection of your thoughts. You're only feeling guilty because you're thinking about this person unable to eat or go out, which is why you're feeling guilt. It makes you human. So don't feel bad that you're feeling guilty. Feel happy that you're feeling guilty because you have that emotion that's telling you, stop thinking that way. It hurts. It's your body speaking to you. It's telling you whatever you're thinking about is not true. You are not a bad person. By sitting in a house and you're having dinner with your friends, or be it in a restaurant, that does not make you a bad person. That makes you a human that's also living his human experience. not everybody lives the same human experience. It is sad. Everything that's happening in this world is sad. But if we're all going to stop living, we're going to be losing the battle.
Wouldn't you be scared of someone, though, who has a personal vested interest in what's happening in Lebanon or in Gaza, that they are switched off? They're like, wouldn't that scare you if you knew someone like that? Wouldn't you think there's something wrong with them because they're emotionally being able to cut themselves off? Or as a life coach, be like, you know what, I applaud this person because they're able to decompartmentalize and actually live in the now.
Well, switched off comes in so many ways. Like, he can be switched off completely, as in, like, even when he watches the news, he doesn't react. That worries me.
Because it numbs you. Up to some point, you get this kind of
Yeah.
feeling where you've seen it all before, and you're like, there's no the feeling of seeing the same images and atrocities. And let's be clear, they are atrocities that's been happening in Gaza and then even in Lebanon.
Yeah.
But after a while of seeing the same images over and over again, you get numb to it.
Some,
right?
yes.
And then some
no.
people just like, you know what, it doesn't affect me anymore because they've seen it. And that worries me more, because you should never get numb to that.
No, you shouldn't. It shouldn't be okay, ever.
Yeah.
It should always be wrong. It shouldn't be okay. If somebody doesn't react to a video or to breaking news of something that was horrific, there was zero reaction, I would worry about that person. Worry about that person because their brain has caused a complete block, which means there's something very wrong on the inside.
Yeah, there's a trigger there there's a
That's a
deeper
ticking
issue.
bomb.
Yeah.
That is a ticking bomb right there that's going to explode any minute.
So going back to the question, because it is nuanced in the last sort of 12 months or so, since everything's been really escalated, let's say.
Yeah.
Because it's been going on a long time, but it's been super escalated in the last 12 months. What's the common thing that these clients are coming to you with?
So other than the part that we said,
Mhm.
the whole feeling guilty and going out, let's go on more of a brighter note.
Yes.
So this year, I would say the cheating is the highest. Cheating in relationships.
People are cheating more now?
Yeah, this year is quite big, huh? I have no idea
Really?
what's happening this year.
What's happened 2024?
A lot of women
Something
are
in the
cheating.
air, in the water? Is it mainly women or
No, it's
or
equal, actually.
Equal.
Before it was more men.
Okay.
Now it's women and men.
So why do people cheat?
For many, many reasons.
What's the most
Many
common?
reasons. There's no common, I would say. Always the reason of cheating is a lack of something within the person that is cheating. It is never the mistake of the spouse.
Is there blame?
Do they blame? Of course.
No, but should you put blame? Because
No,
if that
me, no.
person's
I would never blame. As a coach, I don't blame.
no, but is there every relationship? It's never super simple. There's always two sides to every story,
Yeah.
as they say. In the case of someone cheating, on the face of it, whoever's cheating is in the wrong.
Yes.
Can there ever be a case when whoever's cheating is actually not in the wrong
No.
and they're fully within their right?
No.
That can never be the
Never.
case.
Because for you to be, let's say, if you're going to put it in this way, that the person in the cheating has done it because the other person is horrible. You don't need to cheat. You can just leave the relationship.
But if they're married and have kids, perhaps they feel like
What is that excuse these days? What do you mean? So it's okay for a person to go cheat?
No, I'm trying to understand the psychology of a person, why they feel they wouldn't be able to do that, why they can't leave. Because you're saying they can just get up and leave. It's very easy to say that. But
that's why I say hypocrisy is big here. That's why I never say they're in the okay. You cannot be a hypocrite. You cannot say it's okay for me to cheat because I don't want to break up a family. That's a complete hypocrisy right there. It's either you stick to your family and you fix your issues with your husband or your wife, or you leave the relationship and you go start a new one and you figure out a way where you can adapt your family life, see your kids every day, have a healthy relationship, you and your ex. That's the way it's supposed to be. But reverting to, no, I'm going to cheat because I need to feel good in order to be good at home.
Yeah.
How does that logically make sense?
It's a quick instant fix, but it doesn't actually fix
There's
the
no
issue.
fix in it.
Yeah, but it's that instant feeling where you feel you might get a little bit of power. But I'm not talking from experience. This is
I hope not.
let's just be very, very clear. but suppose again, you mentioned something as well, that men and women are equally doing this. So it's not just when people think of cheating, generally they tend to think of the male cheating on the woman,
because it was more
but
common.
it's infactually correct, right?
The male?
It's infactually correct that the men cheat more than the women.
Not anymore.
It's 50-50, right?
Well, actually,
It's more women.
Statistically speaking, more women today. Statistically speaking.
And why is it on the increase in this part of the world? What's happening?
Here, it's 50-50.
But why is it the overall volume, let's say, of cheating increasing?
Again, it's all a lack within themselves.
So people,
First, also, it's a mindset. It's because people are making cheating very normal. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I've heard conversations and I've witnessed firsthand, and this has happened to me personally, where a married man would come up to me, have a very beautiful conversation. I have no idea he's married. And the flirting happens and all this. And I'm thinking to myself, my God,
He plays backgammon as
this
well.
guy's too good to be true.
Yeah.
And I literally had to drop the question. I said, I'm sorry, but how is a guy like you still single? It was too good to be. He said, I'm single? I'm married. I'm like, oh, bear in mind, throughout the conversation, he asked me out on beach, out on dinner. He made like, God knows how many plans. And when he dropped the bomb, he said, I'm married, and very confident.
Yeah.
Happily married.
But there's a lot of women who are more interested in men when they're married.
I get it. It's not easy for men because they're, like you said, a lot of women these days are approaching men that are married. Okay. And they don't make it easy for them. They seduce them. And a man, he runs with two instincts, one at a time. Yeah. It's either his brain, and if his brain switches off, he works on his hormones. So they tend to, it's not okay for them to do that mistake. They can take control of themselves.
So a lot of your coaching is to help regulate those instincts, I'm guessing.
Take control. You can control yourself as a man, and
a woman.
Of course, a woman can control it. A woman it's very hard for a woman to have any sexual relationship without emotion. There's a lot of girls that do it, but it's not, we're not built that way. Men, probably. Women, no. We're not built that way. I really find it bad on both ends for men and women to be cheating, but knowing that the statistics is more women than men is actually something very shocking. Like,
honestly, I'm not that shocked. It's just there's been a very strong agenda against males because they're seen as people who are not good people, and find a good man is difficult. I speak to a lot of single guys in Dubai, and they tell me, Luca, finding a good girl in Dubai is impossible. But you hear that less than the other version. Anyway.
This is the all-new L200. It drives you to push its limits. It embraces any challenge. Achieves beyond your expectations. And commands your wishes. This is the beast that meets your daily needs and never lets you down. It is the powerhouse of expertise and mastery. This is your companion that goes above and beyond. L200. Challenge accepted.
Drive your ambition. Mitsubishi Motors.
Time for another ball.
Another ball. Have you been seduced by women? While I get the other ball?
Carrots.
That's my secret word. My safe word. What's more effective, experience or accreditation?
Okay, so as a life coach, right, what's more effective? Coaching from the experiences that you've been through, real life experiences, or based on what a book, written by some author who probably died a long, long time ago, is saying?
Well, methodologies, I would say book, because they are irrelevant to the experience. The methodology of treatment or healing, how we work the brain. You need to learn it. It's like saying that, okay, let me put it in a way of driving a car. First day, you don't go to a driving institute, yeah? You get in, 16, steal a car. Typical, yeah?
Did you steal a car when you were 16?
Of course I did. My mom's car, she found out. Because I put it in a different parking.
Oh.
So, but you see, when I first get into a car, what do?
You don't steal it. That's not the first thing that comes to mind. What's the first thing you do in a car? Let's nab there. Let's nab the car.
It's okay. It wasn't a stranger. It was my mom. So, but it was wrong. Do not steal a car when you're 16. That's for sure. So the thing is, when you get in a car, first time driving, let's say legal age, 18, and you don't want to go to an institute, you don't want someone to teach you, you want to do it on your own. You get in, you're probably trying to figure out all these buttons. So you turn your wipers on, and your signals and your light, and it's a chaotic, yeah?
So many things.
So many things going on. And then you're driving, and eventually you start driving, you're going to hit a couple of bumps on the road,
Like people?
What?
Like people?
No, like you're going to hit a pavement, you're a curve.
Yeah.
You're still not, you're trying to understand how it works. Within practice, eventually after denting the entire car, you'll pick it up.
Yeah, but you know what's more dangerous? Here's the thing. and I agree with you, but the most dangerous drivers in the world are the ones that are unconsciously driving or unconsciously capable.
Yeah.
So when you first learn how to drive a car,
You're doing it consciously.
you're aware of everything, right? When you've been driving for 20 years,
it's unconscious.
You cut corners, you do this, and that's actually when you're at your most dangerous, because you're no longer being actively involved in driving. Do I need to indicate here? Do I not need to indicate? By the way, no one indicates in Dubai. It's like
no. Well, they try.
Yeah. But do you get my point? So sometimes when you become so comfortable, that's actually when you're susceptible to getting hurt.
No, because the thing is, everything in your life is autopilot. 98% of your days on autopilot. You carrying the mug right now, you're not consciously thinking about it. You're doing it on autopilot. Your son, on the other hand, you have to teach him how to carry a spoon because he's consciously doing it. Anything you learn becomes programmed. Once it's programmed, it's on autopilot. Now, how you program it, that's the tricky part. If it's programmed wrong, how's he going to drive unconsciously? Recklessly. Obviously, it's not going to be great driving. But if he was taught correctly and that was programmed, how's he going to drive? Probably giving a signal.
So for you, experience is more important than accreditation?
What I'm saying is that accreditation is very important because it teaches methodologies that are not, you will never find in experiences. You will never find it. Okay. But experiences are very important to be guided by the accreditation in order for the experience to become much easier. So they both play a role.
I don't know, choose one.
You can't choose one.
That's the whole point of the game.
They're two different. They're completely different.
Okay.
My experience in coaching, yes, it is more important. But I can't experience coaching if I didn't have the accreditation. It's like you're saying, which comes first, the chicken or the egg?
That's something else.
But that's like the question.
Theological question. Yeah.
It is like the question.
The way I see it is, you can read a textbook about teaching you the rules of baseball or cricket, American or English, very English sport. But you won't understand it from reading it. You have to see and understand the running, when to run, based on living the experience. You with me? So for me, the people that I would resonate most with are the people that are similar to me or have been through things that I can relate to based on their experience. Not because they've studied a book better and they can teach me theory that will go in one ear and out the other.
Okay, let me make this easy for you.
So for me, if I was to answer that question, I would always pick experience. Always.
No, because I'll tell you why. Today you have a phobia, or I have a phobia. Do you have any experience in all your years for you to remove that phobia for me? All the experience you have, can you remove that phobia for me?
I'm not going to ask someone, like a friend of mine who doesn't have any grounding in a specific type of field for advice. Let's put it that way. I would ask someone who knows their subject matter very, very well. But I would be looking for something that I can relate to based on their experiences that they've been through. That's what because that makes them more relatable.
But let's say that you have a phobia and you go to a friend that also has a phobia. Explain to me how each one of you with experience of life is going to be able to help the other get rid of their phobia if you both have it.
But if they've got over it, how they got over it would be
this
what I mentioned.
This person has a fear of heights. He throws himself off of a plane, skydiving.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The experience for me would be, I would find someone who's also been through the same experience.
Bear in mind, I'm giving you the example. You're both afraid of heights.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm scared of heights.
This guy goes skydiving. He faces his fear, to get rid of the phobia. Works for him. But if you try to do it, it could give a reverse effect on you.
No, I get it.
They don't all work the same. So here, experience doesn't play a role. Accreditation does. Fast phobia release models, how to release phobias, how to release traumas. No experience in the world is going to teach you that. You need to know. It's like driving a car. You need to know where's the right gear, where to brake, or else it's going to literally lose itself. So that's why I say you can't have one without the other. Experience is very important because it teaches you life lessons. But there are certain things without accreditation, experience is not enough. You need to have both.
I defer to your better judgment. Next question.
Damn, who writes these questions? All right. Does personal prioritization deprioritize people?
Just putting yourself first hurt at the expense of others.
What do you think?
I think the world has never been more selfish, personally. I think everyone's in it for themselves. I think helping your neighbor is definitely secondary. Supporting communities is secondary to looking after yourself. And you use the analogy yourself about on the plane. Look after yourself first before you treat your kid.
Yeah.
That's how we're being taught now, is that it's more important to look after your
But we have to.
I know, but is that at the expense of?
But that's
the
two
wider
different
people?
things, though. Like, then you have people that are looking out for their well-being and selfish people. They're two different people. Selfish is when they will do anything, even if it means stomping the other person or treating them horribly or deprioritizing them in order for them to feel good. That's just selfish. That's just negative. But when you're looking out for your own well-being, as in like you're too exhausted to go out with your friends tonight, but you don't want to say no because you don't want to hurt their feelings. No, you have to say no at that point because your well-being matters.
What if it's that friend's birthday?
Okay, even though it's your well-being that matters. What's the point of you going to the birthday, feeling tired, pale? What's the use of you there? Probably you can infect everybody else. It doesn't make sense. You need to prioritize yourself. A wedding, fine. Like, this is a bigger thing. A birthday, you'll have that every year. A birthday is every year. You can celebrate take him out for dinner another day. But you need to prioritize your well-being, not on the expense of hurting others. So today, when my family asked me for, let's say, a dinner at home or travel or whatever it is, they're asking me for something. I'm not in the mood for it. I don't want to go for dinner. I think twice, as in seeing them happy makes me happy. So no, I will go because one, it's not impacting my health. It's not affecting me negatively in any way. It's just that I'm not in the mood. Selfish people would say, no, I don't want to go. And they would break the parents' hearts. So you see how to deprioritize selfish people and then prioritize yourself, but not deprioritize others. It's tricky. What do you think?
I think people are putting themselves first all the time.
In a selfish way, or?
It can be construed that way. So, I mean, I can only speak from my own experience. If a friend of mine asked me to go to his birthday and I'm not really in the mood, or I don't feel particularly great, I would still go because that's just who I am, because I know I don't want to let that person down. They've invited me and they'll be happy to see me. So, but I also know if I ask that same question to 10 people, more often than not, people say, yeah, I'm not going to attend. So it's about the notion that our mental state, physical state, or just state, forget about putting two other words, is more important than other people. And the message, I've got two young boys, what message should I be teaching them? Should I be teaching them, look after yourself first and foremost before you think about other people?
Yeah.
I don't know if that sits comfortably with me as Luca to say that message. What I would more feel comfortable with is treat everyone and be as kind to everyone as you possibly can be, including yourself. I'm not saying it should be at the expense of yourself.
Yeah.
I'm saying be kind to people, be nice to people, treat people with respect. Those are the kind of messages that I'm going to be giving to my kids, not just you and then them. I know it's not. I know I'm simplifying it, but that's how I see it.
No, it's a beautiful way of saying it, honestly. As long as it's not on the expense of yourself, then it shouldn't be an issue. But if it is an expense of yourself, you got a problem there. So it's a thin line. Let's see what we got next.
Do you like my insightful questions?
I love them.
Hey.
Best piece of advice you've ever gotten.
That you've got.
Yeah.
So what's the best advice that you've ever got?
You remember I told you at the beginning of the talk that I was I'm curious kid. So I was like, why is it acting like this? Why? So the whys, also when you ask a lot of whys, is a big problem. So there was a situation that was put in. And it was very shocking. And I really wanted to know why this person acted the way they did. And it was killing me on the inside. Like, why? Like, why would someone do something like this? And my friend gave a Lebanese saying, a very famous saying, says, الخبر اللي بتدفع حقه مصاري اليوم بكرة بيجيكي ببلاش. So it's news that you would pay money for today. Tomorrow you'll get it for free. She just said it like that, but it was honestly one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. And it really, really hit me, like really hit me hard. Like, it's true. Like, eventually I'm going to know the answer. Why am I beating myself up about it? Like, this is everything in life, not just this person, everything in life. Eventually I'm going to get the answer. If not today, maybe in 10 years, maybe in 5 years. So why the rush? Why the constant questions?
Why the anxiety?
Why worry? And then actually not too long after it, I saw a video on Instagram of an Indian guru, beautiful guy. And he said, this is a slide of life. And he said, you have a problem? And it shows you yes and no. He said, yes, do you have a solution? Yes, why worry? And then it says, no, you have a problem, you have a solution, no, then also why worry? So the question is, there's no need to worry because either you have a solution or you don't, but worrying is never going to give you, ever going to add on to or fix your problem or even give you a solution.
This is the perfect moment, and I've waited 30 odd episodes to say this. A phrase that my wife can't stand. Okay?
What is it?
And it's from Shakespeare. And the phrase is, there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so.
Oh, why doesn't she like it?
Because I say it all the time. That's time for another ball. That's time for another ball. I love it. By the way, really insightful. I love that. I love that advice. Really good.
Mindfulness, territory for coaches or mental health experts?
So this is a debate because everyone's talking about mindfulness.
Yeah.
And everyone's sort of claiming it to be part of their sort of remit.
Yeah.
Do you see it more as an area for coaches or for therapists?
It shouldn't be an area for
mental health experts.
It shouldn't be an area for this or that, honestly. It should be for all. It's mindfulness. It should be for even non-experts. Everybody should be mindful. Like
what does it mean to be mindful?
To be mindful is the way I see it. Again, people perceive things differently. But the way I see mindfulness is to be mindful to yourself. What you say, the words you use to yourself, how you speak to yourself, self-talk. What you drink, what you eat, what you think, everything. That's all part of being mindful. Because the way that you're treating yourself inwards is going to reflect the way that you are outwards with everybody else. So that way, when you're being mindful, you can treat others properly. But not being mindful of yourself is going to cause you being not mindful to others. Raging, talking back, reacting, doing everything that's not mindful. So I really think that the word mindful shouldn't be for either coaches or therapists. It should be for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to sit on the fence.
You don't think? What do you think so?
I don't know. I think I hear HR talking about mindfulness.
Yeah.
I hear fitness coaches talking about mindfulness. I hear
Could be a trend.
Sleep therapists talking about mindfulness. I feel everyone's talking about foodies are talking about mindfulness.
Yeah, I told you.
I'm like, so it's like everyone's talking about it, but yeah, it just strikes me as who is if there is there an authority voice that should actually be talking about it rather than listening to everybody else? I mean, you ask someone a piece of advice, you ask 10 people a piece of advice about, I don't know, a situation you're going through. You'll probably get 10 bits of different advice. Who'd you listen to?
Are they good?
I don't know. You tell me. Yeah.
That's good advice. Listen to them all.
Yeah.
Because like I said, mindful depends on how you see it, the way you perceive it. The way I see mindfulness is your self-relationship that reflects outwards. Some other people see mindfulness with your food, the way you treat your body. It's different. It's not wrong. It's your perception of it. So it doesn't make it right or wrong, but It's good to be mindful. When does a coach start and a therapist end? Oy. I don't know. A coach, why would a therapist end?
Because for me, a coach is about, you're talking about helping them through a certain type of situation they might be going in, or to help them improve certain thing. Whereas I feel like with a therapist, again, I'm super ignorant. Call me super ignorant. A therapist is about getting into the root cause of what the actual issue, the underlying issue is.
No, that's what a coach does as well.
Okay.
So
that's why I'm asking the question.
No, so to answer that question, the question doesn't apply because when a coach starts, the therapist doesn't end. They work simultaneously together.
So
they
what's
just
the difference?
use different techniques.
So what's the difference between
different techniques?
Okay.
It's like going to a dentist. They're all going to use different techniques. They're not wrong. Yeah, but which one suits better? Old therapy sessions used to be those lay on the sofa and speak for an hour and tell me what's... Yeah, we don't... These are gone now. Some people still use them though. Some people lay on the sofa and just talk about their problems for an hour and leave. And the whole time, the therapist is just sitting there taking notes. Like you see them in movies as well.
I've done 2 types of therapy. I've done theta healing.
Yeah.
Which I love, by the way. Which I thought was very, very powerful. And hypnosis.
Yeah, so that's done usually by coaches, but therapists as well do hypnosis.
Yeah, so again, the lines are blurred. A coach can be a therapist can be a coach.
Yes.
Different terminology's got it, clear.
Because at the end of the day, they're all doing therapy.
Yeah.
Just different kinds of therapy. Be it theta healing, hypnosis, NLP, they're all types of healings. They're just different modalities. So people, I think, were scared of saying, I'm going to a therapist because they're like, oh, you're crazy. So they changed the terminology to life coach.
Yeah, and I think that's more of a
So-
societally accepted
Yeah.
term.
It's like, oh, life coach. Oh, it's like a luxury to have a
Yeah.
life coach.
See Mace, she's amazing. That's your slogan. That's your
Amazing.
that's your
Yeah.
tagline, right?
My tagline.
Love it.
It was a client actually that came up with it.
It's very nice.
She said, you know, you're just amazing. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
what a pun.
Well, you're doing an amazing job with the ball so far. How many do we have left, by the way?
Oh,
Let's
only 2.
Okay, let's do these 2.
Okay. So rank in wellness importance: mental, spiritual, physical.
So what rank in importance of wellness? Mental, physical, spiritual.
Well,
What's number 1?
I would say spiritual, then mental, then physical. It's tricky between the spiritual and mental. It's a very thin line between them. How would you rank it?
I have no idea. I have generally no idea.
But I think it's
because people talk about different types of wellness, right?
yeah.
And you always think, well, what is wellness? It's a bit of this, it's a bit of that. And I crystallize it as 3 different sort of boxes. I mean, again, am I oversimplifying it or not? But mental is what people most commonly associate with when it comes to wellness.
Yeah.
Work-life balance, figuring out that pace, the peace that you need and the requirements. The physical, everyone's talking now about physical wellness and the importance of staying fit and eating healthy. And then there's the spiritual, which isn't talked about so much. But if it is talked, it's in a very broad brush stroke kind of approach.
Yeah.
And what's spiritual, if I ask you what does spiritual mean to you, it's probably different to what it means to me. So just wanted to get your take on it. So you'd go spiritual first. And
this
why
is for me, as in if I rank wellness for me.
But why spiritual first for you?
Because the thing is, when I'm spiritually connected, I'm mentally calm. So I can think clearer. But that's me. When I say spiritual comes in all forms. As in, I'm connected to Mother Earth, and I'm connected to God, and I'm connected to nature, and I'm connected to everything around me. That to me is all spiritual. To be able to connect with everything around me is spiritual. Of course, the higher power, God, is very important. But I'm saying this for one reason: for people to understand spirituality is not limited to only whatever religion you come from. Because a lot of people don't believe in God.
More and more.
Yeah.
In fact.
It's unfortunate because God is great, and I think people should believe in God. But if they don't, doesn't mean that they're not spiritually connected to Mother Earth. So it still holds an aspect. It's what grounds you. Keep putting your feet on the grass and grounding yourself, or by the beach on the sand. Grounding yourself with Mother Earth is spiritual connection at the end of the day. So to me, that's why I pick spiritual first, because when I'm able to ground myself and calm myself, then I'm able to think clearly. When I'm able to think clearly and I have a clear vision, physically, I'm going to start performing better. So that's the way I see the cycle. But between spiritual and mental, it's a very thin line.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Last one.
Neuroscience techniques or spiritual practices. Oh
Look at that.
God.
Look at that, how it just one flows after the other.
Why would you ask me something like this?
Neuroscience neuroscience techniques or spiritual practices.
No, don't put me in that situation.
Gotta get those insights, man. Give me those. I want to uncover those insights.
I love neuroscience, but I love spirituality. Okay, so neuroscience is phenomenal. Okay, but I cannot say spiritual. They're completely different things. Okay, let me put it this way. Neuroscience, you're talking about, or how about, let me switch it around. Okay, let me switch it around. I have to make sense of this. If me being a spiritual person, I believe that my spirit, okay, whether it be my religion or other religions, I'm a spirit that came to this earth by God. So spiritually, I am here. Neuroscience comes in and tells me this magnificent God creation, how to work it. So I can't say that that's it, I'm a spiritual existence and completely eliminate neuroscience, because neuroscience is what's making me understand the existence of the spirituality that I'm in. It's not the opposite, because a lot of people say that neuroscientists probably atheist. No. Neuroscience, you're talking about, it's teaching you the greatness of God's creation. And I love neuroscience. And I love God.
Nice. Pick one. What's more important?
Oh, no, I can't. No way. I can't say more important. Of course, God's more important than anything. But if you don't understand it, like without neuroscience, maybe we wouldn't have understood what the greatness of God is. I love both. But of course, God comes first. But for me, I love neuroscience. I choose not to answer your question.
I've got a last little curveball for you.
Yeah.
Right, this
Oh,
is-
you have
this
a
is
hidden one.
This is a white ball, right? You can get to ask any question that you want, or you can say anything that you haven't yet said that you really, really want to say. So the power is yours.
Curveball. Man,
It's a white ball.
the white ball.
The floor is yours. We're going to end the show with this, so.
Make it juicy. I think the question that matters the most, and not a lot of people ask it, is who am I? And it's one of the most powerful questions if you ask yourself, who am I? Because instead of just naming, oh yeah, I'm a fun person or I'm tall, cool, when you really understand who you are, why you exist, and your true purpose in life, that gives you a sense of peace and a sense of openness like never before. So understanding why you're here and your true purpose and who are you really? What did you come here to do? That's spiritual connection. It really changes a lot. So I feel like people need to connect with themselves, need to understand why they're here. And if they don't know who they are just yet, it's time to get to know yourself. It's very important to get to know yourself, actually. And I think that is the door that opens up all doors. Once you answer that question, everything changes.
Let me ask an additional. Imagine you answer the question, who am I? But then you ask, who do you want to be? Because that also can be very, very different to who you are as a person. As you aspire in life, because I generally believe that every person on this planet has the capability and capacity to improve, to be a better person, to change. It's in our hands. And those that say they wash their hands of it are, in my opinion, cowards. They're happy to stay where they are, and they don't want to try. They don't want to try and push themselves and self-improve. So asking yourself who you are is super pertinent. Asking yourself, okay, if this is me, how can I improve myself? How can I be a better person?
Yeah.
And if every single person on this planet asked that secondary question, how much better of a world would we be living in?
Oh my God, way, way better. Way better, because you're asking yourself the correct driving questions. They're called driving questions for a reason, because they drive you forward. And when we ask these questions to ourselves usually on a daily basis, but are they the correct questions? So when you're asking yourself, how can I be an even better person than I am right now? Which is a small trick that people don't speak that language that I just said. Their positive driving questions sound something like this. How can I be a better person? Yeah. Something that you just said.
Exactly.
What are you presupposing? That currently you're what now?
You're talking to me.
When somebody says this, yeah. When you say, how can I be a better person? What are you presupposing you are now?
There's much more room for improvement. That you may not be.
No, I'm presupposing when I say a question. How can I be a better person? That means now what am I?
I see.
People ask the wrong questions on a daily basis. They ask themselves, how can I improve? How can I be happy? Which they're presupposing that currently they're bad and currently they're sad.
I'm with you.
So the correct terminology, being mindful of how you speak to your body. I'm teaching you an insight of how to speak to your brain.
100%.
Is to speak in the now, like I said a while ago. How can I be an even better person than I am right now? Look at the difference. Even better than I am right now. I am giving the command to my body that I am a great person right now.
You're giving yourself a little bit pat on the back, but you're also saying, I want to
when
move
you
forward.
tell yourself that better than I am right now, immediately the neurons that you shoot in your brain opens up your peripheral vision, activate the neurons that were asleep, and start showing you things that were right in front of your eye the whole time, but you never saw before. So I'm not talking about the law of attraction here. I'm talking pure science. So when you tell yourself, how can I be happier than I am right now? Minute you say, then I am right now, and you talk about happy, your brain immediately sends a message to shoot endorphins or dopamine.
Very nice.
But when you say, how can I be happy? Your brain goes like, oh,
I'm not happy.
I'm not happy. Let's shoot cortisol.
Great
And I
insight.
get clients that ask me this every day. I ask myself, I'm a very positive person. Every day I say, how can I be happy? How can I be happy? And I'm not happy. I don't know why.
I love that. It's a beautiful and it's a very simple trick.
It's a very simple. This is
But
one
very
of the coaching
very,
techniques.
very powerful. Very, very powerful.
Driving questions are one of the most powerful things. If you use them exactly like I just told you, it can change your life. How can I make more money is a question a lot of people ask. What are you presupposing? That you're not making money right now. Go change your language. How can I make even more money than I am making right now?
Fantastic.
Be more specific.
Fantastic insight to end.
So even more than I am right now. That's your trick.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Look, thank you so much for being part of the show. Thank you for sharing your insights. Thank you for all that wisdom that's been coming out of your mouth for the last hour or so. It's been fantastic having you on. You look, as I said to you halfway through the show, you've got an amazing energy about you, fantastic charisma, and I'd love to have you back on in the future to hear more about your story.
Of course,
All
of
right.
course. So I'm going to close it up instead of you.
You're going to end? The show's yours. Say something about liking, subscribing, and sharing. That'd
All
be
right.
nice. And to stay tuned for the next episode of the Inside Track. Go for it. Look into this camera.
All right. So this was the end of an amazing episode with Luca, the Inside Track, where all the insights will be given by audio and video. All you need to do is like, share, and subscribe, and definitely throw in a comment or two whether you like the conversation or you're against it. I'd love to hear your feedback, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Couldn't have said any better. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Drive your ambition. Mitsubishi Motors.